Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Vidura, the son of the world, Lord Krishna has said, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?" One more time. Sri Uddhava said, "My dear Vidura, the son of the world, Lord Krishna has said, and our house now has been swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare?" Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It's a quite long purport. I read it slowly, but anyhow I'm going to explain it. The disappearance of the Krishna son may be explained as follows, according to the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Vidura was struck with great sorrow when he got the hint of the annihilation of the great Yadu dynasty, as well as of his own family, the Kuru dynasty. Uddhava could understand the grief of Vidura, and therefore he first of all wanted to sympathize with him by saying that after the sunset, everyone is in darkness. Since the entire world was merged in the darkness of grief, neither Vidura nor Uddhava nor anyone else could be happy. Uddhava was as much aggrieved as Vidura, and there was nothing further to be said about their welfare. The comparison of Krishna to the sun is very appropriate. As soon as the sun sets, darkness automatically appears. But the darkness experienced by the common man does not affect the sun itself, either the time of sunrise or of sunset. Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are exactly like that of the sun. He appears and disappears in innumerable universes. And as long as he's present in a particular universe, there's all transcendental light in that universe. But the universe from which he passes away is put into darkness. His pastimes, however, are everlasting. The Lord is always present in some universe, just as the sun is present in either the eastern or the western hemisphere. The sun is always present either in India or in America. But when the sun is present in India, the American land is in darkness. And when the sun is present in America, the Indian hemisphere is in darkness. As the sun appears in the morning and gradually rises to the meridian and then again sets in one hemisphere, while simultaneously rising in the other, so Lord Krishna's disappearance in one universe and the beginning of his different pastimes in another take place simultaneously. As soon as one pastime is finished here, it is manifested in another universe, and thus his Nitya Leela, or eternal pastimes, are going on without ending. As the sunrise takes place once in 24 hours, similarly, the pastimes of Lord Krishna take place in the universe once in the daytime of Brahma, the account of which is given in the Bhagavad Gita as 4,300 million solemn years. But wherever the Lord is present, all his different pastimes, as described in the revealed scriptures, take place as regular intervals. As at sunset the snake becomes powerful, thieves are encouraged, ghost becomes active, the lotus becomes disfigured, and the Chakravarti laments. So, with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the atheists feel enlivened, and the devotees become sorry. That's quite something, isn't it? Okay. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jananana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurudeva Namaha Vanchakalpa. Thank you so much for your services. Vanchakalpa Tarubhya Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for coming. Thank you for Shravanam for coming to hear class. It's the most important process of devotional service. Is the hearing goes through the ears, from the ears to the heart, and there the purification takes place. So welcome. Okay. So what we see here in this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter, what was it? Chapter 2, verse 7. We see here how Uddhava is speaking. He's speaking to his uncle Vidura. And we use Vidura again. Vidura is the brother of Pandu of Dhritarashtra. And Uddhava is speaking to him. Let me first go very briefly to the background for a better understanding. So, Uddhava is speaking to Vidura. What happened here is, in the past, is that at a certain moment, Vidura left his home. His home was the kingdom of Dhritarashtra, his brother. He left his home because he had been, kind of offended. He felt insulted. Actually, we think he felt insulted or offended by the demoniac son of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. But actually, as I explained last time, Vidura didn't felt offended. He was insulted. He was very bad insulted. But Vidura was calm. He didn't experience it as an offense, not at all. Instead, he saw here, I wrote some notes, he saw this so-called offense, this insult, he saw it as an act of Krishna. He saw it as a gift. And that's what my lecture was about. All these offenses and insults, we get angry and we wanna take revenge, but they are gifts. They're gifts on our part. He saw it as an act of Krishna. And why? Why was it an act of Krishna? Because he got some relief. He could leave the kingdom, and he could go and visit pilgrim places of pilgrimage. And who knows why it's very important to visit those places? Pilgrimage. To go there is to remember the Lord, to glorify the Lord Krishna. Why? In all these pilgrim places, you will see a lot of temples, so you can take darshan and glorify the Lord on the altar in his archer form. That is why he went on a pilgrim tour. So, and he went to many places, and I'm not going dive deep into it, but the last place he went was the Yamuna River, and there, at the bank of the Yamuna River, he saw Uddhava sitting. Uddhava just came from the spiritual world, from Goloka Dham. He was there, and he came back to Earth planet. And at the Yamuna bank, both met. So Uddhava is sitting there and, quite lamenting. So, and Vidura thought, wow, Uddhava came from Krishna. I have some questions. So, and there it starts with Uddhava. Vidura questioning Uddhava, and now Uddhava in this particular verse, is answering, as I will read again the translation. What is Uddhava saying? My dear Vidura. He's answering. Vidura put a question, and Uddhava is answering. My dear Vidura, the son of the world, Lord Krishna has said, and our house has now been swallowed by the great snake of time, darkness. What can I say to you about our welfare? So Uddhava is quite worried. He said, Krishna, who is the sun, there's a comparison. Krishna is the sun, everything comes from Krishna. He's the sun, and Krishna has said, Krishna is gone, and now Krishna is gone, and what happens? There's no sun anymore, there's no light. Krishna disappears, so the light disappears, and instead, what happened is, look, our house is swallowed by the great snake of time. That means, because of Krishna's disappearance, there's darkness. Light is gone, there's darkness. So how will I live? how will I survive? And he says, what about our welfare? There's no welfare anymore. We can't live without you. So that's the point here. And now what we read here is Krishna, when Krishna disappears, and Krishna disappears at the end of Dwapara Yuga, the beginning of Kali Yuga, then with Krishna's disappearance, the sunlight, it is compared with the sunlight, the light is gone, and it transformed, or it changed into darkness, no light. So if we look at this verse, there are some elements I'm going to explain briefly. First thing is the appearance and the disappearance of Krishna. Okay, Krishna in the spiritual world, there's not something like such a thing like disappearance and appearance. Both are the same, because that's on the absolute platform. It's the same. We celebrate disappearance days, we celebrate appearance days. So it is not like he's born and now he's dead. No, it's just the same. So Krishna appears on Earth planet for reasons. You can read it in Bhagavad Gita 4.7 and 4.8 together, but to put it shortly, he appears on planet Earth or to protect his devotees, to annihilate the miscreants, which means like to kill the demons, and to re-establish religious principles, to re-establish dharma. That's why he came here. So here, 5,000 years ago, when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, Krishna appeared to planet Earth because there was a kind of friction. There was a friction between Kamsa on the one hand, and on the other hand we had Ugrasena and we had Krishna. There was Vasudeva. There was a friction. So Krishna came to protect his devotees. Kamsa was a non-devotee. So, and it is that Krishna came, he was born in the womb of Devaki, then he gave pleasure to so many people. He went to Vrindavan, gave pleasures to the gopis, the damsels of Vrindavan. He went to Dwarka, and then goes on, and then at a certain moment he left planet Earth. And what happened? Everybody experienced that the light is gone, disappearance. With the disappearance, the light is gone, and now it's darkness. And everybody starts to lament. We have the same. If we leave somebody, we are lamenting. We are in darkness. And in this verse, we see how Vidura was struck with sorrow. How Uddhava couldn't speak. He was lamenting. And even the damsels, the gopis of Vrindavan, when Krishna left Vrindavan in Srimad Bhagavatam 3-40, you can read what happened with the gopis when Krishna left. The damsels of Raja, after the pastimes with Krishna, of loving together, humor, exchanging glories, they were very, very sad when Krishna left him. They used to follow him with their eyes, and they sat down with stunned intelligence, and they could not finish their household duties. So, now we see in the purport we can read that when Krishna leaves, a certain group is happy that Krishna is leaving, and a certain group is sad. There's always in the material world you will have a group. Never one group, everybody will be happy. One's happiness is the other one's distress. That is called envy. So here you see one group is happy. Those are the atheists. The purport said atheists are people who think that there's no God, or to say it better, they know there is a God, but they think they are God. Those are atheists, and they are happy when Krishna disappears. And the ones who are not happy, but in darkness, are the devotees. So you have to remember this point that one group is always happy when Krishna disappears or the sun disappears, and the other group is distressed, is in darkness. The point I want to make now is so you can see how influenced we all are, even the living beings. We are so much influenced by sunlight, by light, and by darkness, by appearance and disappearance. We are not steady. We are influenced by these, these opposite components. And let me dive into the first further. There is Srila Prabhupada in the purport said, and based on the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, so Prabhupada said there's no difference between the disappearance of Krishna and the appearance of Krishna and the disappearance and appearance of the sun. It's the same. If the sun sets down, disappears, it's also dark. We see dark, and when the sun appears, it's light. So there's no disappearance. It's exactly there's no difference. It's exactly the same. Krishna's disappearance causes us distress, darkness. In the verse we see what happens if the sun disappears. It's the same. This text 7 here. As at sunset, sunset means the sun disappears, the sun is gone. What happens is the snakes become powerful. You see how everything is influenced. Not only living beings, the snakes, the animals, the flowers. I'm going to read. As at sunset, the snakes become powerful. Thieves are encouraged to steal. Ghosts become active. The lotus becomes disfigured, not beautiful anymore. The Chakravarti, the birds, they lament. So, with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, and you see the other group, the atheists feel enlivened, and the devotees become sorry. So we see everybody is under the influence of darkness, disappearance, and appearance, light. There are lessons for us to learn in this verse, and let's make some points regarding the lesson. The lesson for us to learn is from this verse is to understand that all living beings, including animals, including plants, we all are affected by appearance and disappearance. By happiness, we become happy, or we got distress. So we are under the influence. And how come? How come we are under the influence? How come we think, wow, this light, hey, it's dark, it's good, it's bad, it's hot, it's cold. How come? It is like, so if we understand that we are under the influence, that's one. The second one is how this happens. And the answer is because we have imperfect senses. We perceive it like hot. It is not hot, but we in the material world, we perceive it. We experience something as good, or something as bad, or something as cold or warm. We think the sun is, when the sun sets, it's dark, we think the sun is gone. We tell our children, look, the sun is gone. When Krishna disappears, we think Krishna is gone. But the sun never disappears. The sun is always present. Krishna never disappears. He's always present. And in the purport you can read that it is like we perceive it like that. In the verse you can read that when Krishna disappears, it doesn't mean he is gone, but there are numerous universes in this world. That means he moves from one universe to the other universe. And in the universe where he disappeared, get dark. The universe where he is present becomes light. And this is going on all the time. And it's not that he's gone, but he's moving from one universe to the other, just like the sun. The sun said, when the sun is in America, it's light in America, in India it's dark. This comparison is made here as well. And we say the sun is gone. No, it is just moving, so it is eternally present. It is never gone. And why is Krishna now creating this whole thing of light and darkness in our lives? This sunlight and darkness, rain and storm and all these things. And the answer lies in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadir Adi Govinda Sarva Karanam Karana, which means that Krishna is the cause of all causes. So happiness comes from Krishna, but also distress comes from Krishna. Krishna creates happiness and creates distress for us. We face it daily. daily. We're happy, we think we're happy. And then at a certain moment we have distress. And this distress is caused by adibhoitika, adiatmika, and adidaivika. Yeah, adiatmika, distress by your own body. Adibhoitika, distress because somebody is insulting you, somebody is hurting you by somebody else. And adiatmika, by earthquakes and all these things. So constantly we have happiness on our path, and that turns, it can be in one moment, in 1 second, in sadness, in darkness. Why? Why is this happening? Gentlemen over there, Prabhus, why is this happening? Why is Krishna putting all this darkness in our lives? That's nothing else than purification. It's meant to come closer to Him, like Queen Kunti in the prayer said, "Oh Lord Krishna, the more calamities, please give them to me, the closer I come to you." So that's why. Because if everything goes well in your life, there is constant happiness. And what does it mean? Oh, I solve all my problem. I don't need anybody. I don't depend on anybody. I'm the Lord, I solve everything. But this is not what Krishna's want. This is not in line with Krishna's desire to let us be happy all the time. Because then we don't remember Him and we don't think that we're dependent on Him. Point is, Krishna wants us back. Krishna is our dear spiritual father. And Krishna loves us. We are so dear to Krishna more than He is dear to us. So Krishna is our father. He wants us back because He thinks, my dear children, you're not belonging there. You're not matter. You're a spirit spark. You're spirit soul. So come back to the spiritual world. Aham brahmasmi. That's the word. So Krishna creates darkness and disturbances for purification. It is like the two birds, the two birds in the heart. One is the Atma and the Paramatma in the heart. And the Atma is we. We are doing all our activities, We are just action, reaction, all these things are going on. That is Atma. And Krishna is not interfering. He's just watching. He thinks what is going on there, but He will never interfere because He respects the independence He gave us. But one time will come when this Atma, the bird, thinks, wow, like Arjuna thought I can solve all the problems. Just one day will come that you think, my God, this is really too much for me. Arjuna, I have to kill my family, my relatives. Come on, Krishna, this I can't solve. I thought I can solve all the problems, but this is too difficult for me. That's the disturbance, that's the darkness. And then the bird will turn to Krishna. Please, I'm wrong, I can't. 2.7, Arjuna then in Bhagavad Gita 2.7, from student, he became, from friends, equal friends, he became a disciple. Please, I thought we are friends on equal levels, but now, no, you have to teach me. You're my guru. Give me instructions. So, happiness and distress will come. This is the last part I want to tell to you. What does it mean if distress comes? Do we have to lament? Do we have to give up? Or do we, like Arjuna wanted to go to the forest, and Vidura is now struck in sorrow, and now Uddhava said, I don't know what's going on with us, what about our welfare? All this lamenting. Is that what we have to do when there's distress? Bhagavad Gita 2.14. It's the last point. Yes, O son of Kunti, Arjuna, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer. They arise from sense perception. O son of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. What is meant here is, the distress is something we perceive because our senses are not perfect. This is called duality. We live in a world with dualities. Something is good, something is bad, it is hot, it is cold, she's ugly and it's nice, all these dualities. That's something in the material world. In the spiritual world, there is not such thing as duality. There is no good and no bad. If something is bad, they experience it as good. They experience everything, even if they don't like it, as good. Because, and that's the mindset we have to develop, because they see in the so-called good and bad, they see Krishna's hand. He's the cause of everything. No good, no bad. If Krishna wants it, I don't like it, but he wants it, so it's good. Everything is good. Yes? And I end with the text. If we come to understand to the point that happiness and distress are the same, in the spiritual world is the same, and we come to the point that it all comes from Krishna, then the point is how can we overcome it? How to deal with this? Because we are not saintly persons, we feel distressed, we feel in darkness. How to overcome it? And I love this verse very much. The last verse is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, and the text is. I put something. Is this the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. It's a very nice verse. Actually, everything is in this verse. It is chapter 12, and the verse is verse 15. No, verse 14. Okay. One who is not envious, but is kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who's equal in both happiness and distress, that's the point, who's tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So, what is said here? We can overcome this so-called darkness. We can see the light always, eternally. There is no darkness. Krishna is not gone. The sun is not gone. There is light, but we don't see it. We don't perceive it. But we can perceive it. How? That is this verse about. Stop lamenting. Stop thinking it is dark. Stop complaining and fear and sadness. And we have to develop these qualities. Practical tips are here. I read from the purport. A pure devotee, what we aim to become, we are not, is never disturbed in any circumstances, nor is he envious of anyone, nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. Now it comes, the practical tips. He thinks, this person is acting as my enemy. I hate him. Whoa, look at the Prabhu, the Majesty, blah. This person is acting as my enemy, but due to my own past misdeeds, it is my fault. It is not his fault. Look at myself. It's because of me. I'm not tolerant. I don't respect him. I have so much false ego. In the past I had and now I have. So it's better to suffer than to protest. Whenever a devotee is in distress or has fallen into difficulty in darkness, he thinks then it is the Lord's mercy upon him. He thinks, thanks to my past misdeeds, I should suffer far, far greater than I'm suffering now. So I have to suffer. I've did a lot of bad things, but Krishna is so amazing, merciful. He gives me little darkness, little suffering. So it's by the mercy of the Supreme Lord that I'm not getting all the punishment I'm due. I'm just getting a little by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is always calm, always quiet, always patient, despite many distressed conditions, despite darkness. So, and here I will end, because I want to conclude. It is quite something to every time see light when your heart is in darkness. It is quite something to train because even elevated souls like Uddhava is distressed and this Vidura is in sorrow. So who are we? But still, what the verse is learning us is it's a process. Krishna wants to explained to us, and that is why these questions come. Also, Arjuna asked questions because it gives answers to us, to teach us, try to, by process, gradually learn these qualities of tolerance, of not being envy. There are all lessons for us. That's why Arjuna is putting in a position like he is stressed, and Uddhava and Buddhara, but they're not stressed. They're acting to teach us a lesson. So the conclusion is we have to come to a point that we see everything from spiritual eyes. Some people go to Vrindavan and they get stressed, so much dust, and oh, look, everybody's cheating. No, Lokanath Swami said so nice in the class. They don't see, they don't look to it through the eyes of the Bhagavatam. So that's what we have to learn. See things through the eyes of the Bhagavatam. Then we don't experience, we don't perceive hot. If it's hot, then we think, oh, Krishna. This bad, oh, Krishna wants it like that. And in that way, we remain steady. All is Krishna's plan. And I had a small point about yesterday. Can I do this point? No, this time, finished. Okay, sorry, there's also no time for questions then.
Yes, questions.
Okay, yes, questions please.
Sure.
Yeah. No, he only said a short question. Jirka, please.
I did not completely follow your points, but as I could see, your point was this absolute nature of spiritual
Yes.
energy. My question is, we see that in spite of absolute nature of pure devotee, as Srila Prabhupada and eternal associates of Lord Shri Krishna, we see that they also had different emotions. Here in this situation, Uddhava and Buddhara
Yes.
are very safe.
Yes.
And, for example, Srila Prabhupada was sad because of apparently ordinary things. That the children are hungry, we cry.
Yeah.
In similar situations
Yes.
like this.
Mm-hmm.
So could you please explain a little bit more about this? How you devote we
Yes.
should experience also sadness and disappointment?
Yes.
What is there a place for?
I got it. I got it, Jirka. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, of course, we have emotions. We're happy, we're distressed, we said we have emotions. In the spiritual world, they also have emotions. There are loving exchanges going on. But the difference is, Prabhupada had emotions. He was sad when he saw all the junkies and all the people suffering in this world. He was very sad. Sometimes he had tears in his eyes. But the motivation was another one. The motivation was, I want to save them. I want to please Krishna. I want to bring them back. The motivation was, how can I please Krishna and save these people? So there was another, you see, and when we are sad, it is sad related to our own senses. That we are sad because something happened to us, like my friend is this and my mother is this. It's all connected still to the body. The sadness, the emotion is there. The emotions will come and go. They are, but it's related. It is related to who? Prabhupada was sad for Krishna. Oh, Krishna, I'm so sad. I have to do something for you. It's related, you see, and the emotions. And here, Uddhava, yes, Uddhava was sad, and Arjuna was sad, and they all sad. But this whole thing, is a drama. Krishna is made them act in such a way that questions come, and then answers come for us as lessons to learn. Because Vidura is very elevated. Uddhava is Krishna's topmost fan. He went to go look at Vrindavan, like Krishna. How purified he must be. He cannot be sad. He can be sad, but sad for Krishna. Understand what I mean? It's so connected to Krishna. Krishna, what about our welfare? That doesn't mean our personal welfare. It's more, what's going on now with this universe? You're gone. How can we still maintain dharma? The sadness has another object. Not that the dynasty is gone and no. Dharma. Who is going to teach the Dharma, the religious principles, if you're not here? The Varna Ashra system, all these things, all these godly principles. Even the Brahmanas, they were doing nonsense things, so they were worried about the godly creature. So the sadness, the emotions will be there, but you project it on what? What is the aim? What is the goal? Is it related to Krishna or is it related to your own body and sense gratification? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Motivation, you said motivation.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.